Ladies and gentlemen, the driver, the number one jockey Camaro, World 600 champion, Ross Chastain, joins the podcast. Hey! Dude, that was badass the other night. That was freaking badass. You're holding that thing. We talked about it on the show. Just go ahead and show it off to the camera. It looks a little smaller. Is that the thing you're going to wear it on?
Can I talk? Is it okay?
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, you can open it up.
I don't want to interrupt you.
No, thank you.
I don't know. I've been switching. So the digits are a little swollen, I'll say, since the win. Everything's a little
inflamed,
puffy,
if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, rumor has it you may or may not have been going until 9 a.m. on Monday morning.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't go to sleep. Saw the sun come up. Straight to the airport. Flew to Milwaukee. Saw the Moose Lodge y'all seen on my car. Moose Fraternity. And went up there and just got back today. So. And
then you came right here to the Stag and Pennies garage, buddy.
Stopped by the shop for a little bit. Man, here. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know which finger.
Doesn't matter.
It's so heavy that I got to swap it back and forth.
Biceps getting worked out.
It feels good. And it says champion on it. You said champion. It says champion.
There's a couple races when you win them, you're the Coke 600 champion.
That's right.
Not just the winner. Which the marathon that race is, you should be the champion. And the marathon that your team went through.
All 600 miles to get there. I mean,
591 to be exact.
It was crazy to catch. We can talk about it. Catch Will with 15 to go and then not be able to get by him and then 5 to go get by him or 6 to go. It was just holy cow. We needed the whole race.
So Saturday, your car was a rocket ship. Right up to the point of impact. Left rear tire went down, driver's side, no saving it. The boys go to a backup car, work all night long, get that thing back. And I just had a feeling, I was watching you, and I feel like just the track house has been on a little bit of an uptick lately. It's been pretty clear that you guys haven't had good Saturdays, not qualifying well, tough pit stall selections, right? All that stuff just snowballs the wrong direction. But I just felt like this race plays into your strengths, which is you have been manufacturing days all year, been taking a 22nd place car average on speed, running 8th. You're 4 out of the last 6 races in the top 10. I'm I think this is the week. Ross breaks through. Text you on Sunday morning because I was going to hammer you on the pre-race positively. Say, hey, what do you need? So I just need the same car with all the air in the tires. And they gave it to you. So I had an eye on you all day. And when that thing was in traffic, it looked like it was hard to go. That first run, I'm what? The 77 drives, he's going forward, right?
Gone.
And I'm okay, he's going forward. Where's the one at? And just talk about the freaking from the drop of the green. Was the car close? Did you have to work on it a bunch or just steady progression throughout the night?
It never felt the second car, and I do caution to use the word backup. With Gen 7 going to the second car, we went and built the complete car with a chassis and a body, and we assembled it. We had to put the engine in, and then the rest was suspension, new suspension, same springs and shocks, same settings. Like I told you, we wanted the same car we had on Saturday. We did have to bias freer, knowing dirty air, and we did. And then I get in the race, and it does not feel like Saturday. We got all these cars in front of us, and I'm complaining. And then, at the end of the second run, which would have been the end of stage 1, I'm complaining on the radio. I'm it's just I don't have the front turn. It's just no response in the front wheels. And Phil Surgeon keys up real calm and goes, man, I think it's just track position. You just got to get up there, and then it'll be better.
Yeah, just drive harder.
That sounds easy enough.
And
just pass everybody in front of you.
I laughed in my helmet. I didn't hit the button. I just laughed. I'm yeah, of course, Phil. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Of course. If I was leading, it would be better.
Hell yeah.
And but it was kind of an attitude reset that yeah, this sucks right now. But if you just keep, we had driven up, and then we caught that first green flag cycle wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to take the wave around. We had already pitted, and we had tightened the car up for green flag pit out, not knowing the caution was going to come out. So that was a setback. But yeah, it was not good back there in traffic. And that's what's so hard is you start back there, whether you qualify back there like us, we've been qualifying in the 30s. We said we need to stop qualifying in the 30s, and we fixed that. We were in the 40s.
Got it.
Check.
What is it, though? I don't want to go down too far into the weeds here, but when you say, hey, we just got to qualify better, you just don't show up trying harder.
No.
What are those things that you do to go try to qualify better?
I don't know. If I knew it, I'd do it.
A little bit of everything.
You know what you should
It's a little bit everywhere.
You know what you should do? You should get a coloring book out like John Hunter does. Seems to be. Have you seen that?
What?
You haven't seen that?
This is
every
new to
week.
me.
John Hunter. So Travis Mack read this study that coloring takes your mind off of whatever stressor may be in front of you. And like kids test better after they color. Like 6 weeks ago, prior to the resurgence of the 42 car, my man's been coloring at the pit box at the hot dog cart before he gets into qualify.
Come on.
So maybe that's my suggestion to you: Mickey Mouse coloring books,
Or maybe just
Try hard.
nicotine. Maybe nicotine. I would rather pick up dipping than coloring. I think
There's
it's
a
more
lot
of
of
a manly
people.
thing.
So there you go. All right, we already got you 10 spots.
There you go.
Coloring books and nicotine patches.
Get you some Skull, buddy. I'll drop it off this week.
There's no NASCAR drivers in today's world that can handle Skull.
I don't think there is.
No,
they're
it's not.
more zen. More zen guys.
Yeah.
Give
They're
me zen.
looking for
No,
lip
you're
pillows,
going
they're
no.
not.
But there is one man, a watermelon farmer from Florida can get some long cut.
Those
right
days
there.
are long behind me.
Them
I
boots say otherwise.
Quit that a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it was a very short time that I did that. No, thank you.
No.
Nope.
All right. So what are some practical things you can qualify better with?
Yeah.
I think if we get the air pressure a little closer,
Yeah.
I think if we get our offset for one lap speed,
Mm-hmm.
balance, I think that's a whole lot better than
Listen,
me.
we're trying to help here, and now you're just being a nerd.
I don't.
I mean,
I'm happy for
stumped.
Travis that he's telling that story.
yeah. Yeah. But I digress. Let's shift back to the race. We were watching, it was Carl and I and Danielle in the motorhome, and we're, trying to figure out what we're going to talk about during our stage hits and post race and all the things. And every time I'd look up, I would point to the TV screen. I'm like, there he is.
We were
14th.
19th at the end of stage 1.
Yeah, there he is. Here it comes. Bang. 10th.
Yeah.
Bang.
Then 9th.
6th.
Then 7th.
Bang. 5th. Had a bad restart. Kind of got back in traffic. I'm like,
Classic. Get to 3rd. Use tires. Forget I'm on used tires. Choose the inside on hot tires. Went into 1. Never had a chance.
Got to the middle.
What am I thinking?
3 wide
Why
backwards.
Why did I do that?
Because
I
you
don't
didn't color before the race.
I need it in the car.
Yes. Take 4 tires in a coloring book. Hold the water.
So came out of nowhere, right? Because the broadcast, what everybody's seeing is the 11 and 24.
Mhm. It was a 2-car race.
2-horse race at this point in time. They come off legitimately green flag stop, side by side off pit road. You came in 2 laps later, and
On accident.
okay,
There's a
yeah,
little story
because
there.
you
They
tell-
called
yeah.
me
Tell a
in
story.
3. Well, they go to the bottom. I see they're going to pit, but
Yeah.
we hadn't talked about pitting yet.
Yep.
So I ripped the top.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, I got some clean air finally. I was
Yeah.
like 2 seconds back, which is outside of the realm of real aerotight, but still,
a sniff.
if they're gone out of the way, I know I can push a little harder through the corner.
Yeah.
And right as I get to the wall in 3, Phil Surgeon says, "Pit if you can." I'm like, too late. I'm not braking and turning. I had a gap
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
me, but I'm not. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Run another lap. And I key up off of 4, and I'm like, hey, there's a big gap to 4th. I think it was a 45 maybe last I saw. Let's run some extra laps, have a little difference. I'm not going to beat them. They've already beat us to pit road. And there's really no response. And they say something, but it's kind of garbled up. And I go down the back, and I go into 3 the next lap. And I'm
Commit to the
entering
top.
the top again. He's like, pit. I'm like, again, too
Missed your
late.
chance, buddy.
Too late. And I'm wanting to run longer, but I'll listen to him. But it
Yeah.
really was too late. He's like, so down the front, I'm like, do you want me to pit this time? He's like, yes, please, pit, pit. And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
So only 2 laps, but that took us from those 2 seconds, I think, to like 8 behind. So when I came off pit road, I couldn't even see them. There
Really?
was some white cars up there, but both their cars are pretty subtle colors. They weren't real bright. And
It's just fluorescent orange number on the 24. But I
on the
think they're-
sides.
Okay.
You can't see the side.
No, you
I'm
can't.
behind him.
So you come off pit road, right?
And I can't
you
see 'em.
merge, and they were already into 3.
I don't know. Couldn't tell. There was some cars up there. Couldn't tell who it was. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, several laps later, I could see who it was. Then I could see the 24 and the 11. I'm like, oh. So I passed the 11 before he pitted for fuel.
Yeah. He didn't seem like he put up much of a fight, knowing he had to come down.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't listened to his stuff or what, but yeah, I was able to get to his I just got to his inside. I mean, he slid up off of 4, I think, and I got there.
You were laying some heaters down, buddy.
When I rolled off pit road, and you've experienced this, and you've probably experienced this on a racetrack, and it's just right.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's still grip limited. I'm lifting, but I went from full lifting into 1 to a U shape
Yep.
just out of just feel. I wasn't trying to. I just realized I have enough front turn. I have rear grip off the wall, and then when I compress, it still makes the corner. And I'm just doing this U, so I never get to decel. Like, the engine braking never turns on. I don't knock that speed out of the car. It started bottoming out, and it felt good. Like, the blocks are touching, and I'm like, and all I said was, you nailed the balance. That's what I said on the radio. Like,
Hey.
I'll take care of the rest.
That was my lap 4 update. Was like, you nailed it.
Okay.
And then the lap times came with it.
That's how that race is. It's not like it's just America, like dirty, hard work. It's not super flashy, but then you're there at the end and you win the war, right? Like that's what it is. But I wanted to go. I think we all reminisce and we romanticize short track racing and the late nights in the shop and all this stuff. And maybe we go do it and it's like, that wasn't as fun as I remember. But like, I think the road crew guys, sometimes you're not all the time, but like
once a year's fine.
That late night, I love it. That late night in the shop, like, hey, backs against the wall, boys, we're going back to the shop. We're going to build us a race car tonight. Like, take us inside of Trackhouse that night after you guys wreck.
Yeah, but there's a little frustration initially because for like an hour and a half, it was the direction from NASCAR was you have to fix this car that you wrecked. So they're like halfway through that process. And then they come over and they're checking. They're like, oh, we don't like the way some of the clip, like they have triggers on there in the clip, like cut out so they can see if stuff moves, if the clip moves. But they saw something they didn't like. It was like an hour and a half, and so our guys were already like, "Oh
Dang
wait,
it.
we just did all this work.
Yeah, now we're gonna be here
All
till
right.
6.
Bring the gooseneck over. Let's go back to the shop." And Phil Surgeon's like, we have the opportunity. We're gonna build another one because there's just a lot of unknown. We go out there and you're tight or loose, and you don't know if the clips move. You won't know till Monday or Tuesday. So when they made that decision, I was in the PRN booth calling the Xfinity race. So they text me and they said, "Come to the shop when you're done." So I did, and then I stayed there till about 10. I mean, it was a chassis and a body and suspension on it when I got there. They're still trying to figure out, like, every clip's a little different, so they have to account for that. They have to shim stuff different for the suspension. So they're still, like, trying to make the decisions of what to bolt on the car when I got there. So I sat in the seat, made sure the brakes were the same, gas right, steering. Yeah, they told me they'd be out there a little after midnight. It was 2:30, and then back at 5:30. So Phil Surgeon, we were just at the shop. He, as we were speaking to everybody, he had everybody that was a part of that, because there's guys at concerts, there's guys at their kids' baseball games and different things, and they just left what they were doing and came to the shop. So he had everybody that came in stand up, and it was a large group that came in either late Saturday or early Sunday morning.
And we talked about it earlier with that 87 car running, right? You're like James Savali or Gary Putnam, right? Those guys that are usually in the suspension room or doing stuff, fluffing and buffing your cars, now they're working on the 87. So they're like, you guys are already running thin.
Yeah, the fourth car is a big lift, and Justin acknowledges that, but there's a lot of good opportunity to run it.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he rallied, too. He got in when Jimmy busted his butt. He got some damage there, but then he rallied for a 23rd place finish.
So you say they go back to the shop, like Pharaoh and them, Too Tall, shout out, go back to the shop at 5:30. What time does the car actually get back to the racetrack? Because the garage doesn't open until 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to...
Sometime right after lunch.
Really?
Because they had to go back through tech. I think we had to fix something, go through again. We got our 2 shots. Yeah, I think it was 12, somewhere right around that time.
Yeah.
2 o'clock.
I was trying to pull back the curtain for the fans a little bit of like, this is what that day...
Yeah, 5:30 all the way
really
to basically 2 o'clock. They were working on it Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's adds to the allure, right? Adds to the event.
Yes.
And it's the first... There's only been 8 people, trucks, Xfinity, or Cup, start from last and win a race.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think David Pearson was the only other driver to do it in Cup.
Bobby Allison's name keeps getting brought up.
Okay.
They keep telling me
It's pretty good company,
Petty,
buddy.
Maybe a Richard Petty, but that tells you how long ago it was.
Yeah.
That it not first time in the modern era for Cup. I know
Well,
that.
and, you know, we talk about 600 miles of, like, it took 591 of them to get to the front. But there's also, when you're buried in track position, there's 600 miles of something that happened because you're buried behind them, right? And it's, like we said, with your pit crew, right? Are they the absolute fastest each and every week, like 11 car speed? No, but they're in the race every time. You got veteran guys. Shane leads them. Like, every time you come down pit road, are you going to win the race off pit road? No, but are you going to lose a bunch of spots? No, they keep you in the race, and that's what the Coke 600 is. And you guys are a scrappy bunch, and that's why you got a ring on your finger.
It was so cool. It's been so cool to win all my races with that group. Same over the wall group for all 6 wins on the one car. And like you said, Shane, leader, going to be a leader in the future of our pit crew. And the way he carries himself by still going over the wall at his age, okay, no small feat,
Still a stud though.
Not the youngest guy, but still gets it done, and it's so happy. I looked at him in victory lane, and we just like looked at each other and was like, we both. But at the same time, we had this moment, and we're like, thank you. We like echoed each other, so that was really cool. And that's he's been a proponent of me coming over to what was Ganassi back in the day at CGR, because we pitted together in the Truck Series in 2012 at Bobby Dodder's. He was my jackman there. So that tells you he went to Ganassi very shortly after that and has been there. And he would text me over the years until I got there in 18. Like, when are you going to come drive one of these cars? They had the Xfinity car then, and he had all these dreams, and now it's all came together for 6 wins together.
We talked about it a little bit on the post-race show. What'd you think about that, by the way? Have you had a chance to go back, look at anything?
I've seen some clips. I've not watched it all the way through. I've watched parts of the race. But it's all been on my phone, so small.
That's good. Little added technological piece there. You can watch on your phone. Watch wherever you want to on Prime. But you said it was cool to have Justin up there.
Yeah.
As well. I forgot the question I was going to ask you, but more or less.
Over at the Prime desk?
Yeah, you were talking about it after the race.
What did I think of it?
Yeah, no.
One thing they brought up was that truck ride.
That's what I wanted. I wanted Higgy to. Did you get a chance to pull that yet, Higgy? The 66. I wanted to pull some stuff.
It's just crazy how it's intertwined. How your careers are intertwined. Like you just said, Shane Wilson, right? How you guys worked together, Bobby Dodder.
Oh yeah.
And then in this 66 truck.
Hang on. Oh, hang on. Don't run it yet. So, frame this up. So you explain on the post-race show that you and your dad had a realistic conversation. Hey, we've got enough money to run limited late models where?
All season, all year in Florida, basically. New Smyrna, Orlando, Punta Gorda Speedway.
Okay, so then you looked at that. Okay, we could do that, or we can run half that amount of super races, or we can
Well, you have to spend a lot more to go super racing, and if you're going to go super racing, then you need to travel. We want to go hit.
Pensacola.
Then we were like, go to the Snowball, go to Winchester. Like, if you're going to go, if you're going to move up to the next rank, which is how we had always treated short track racing. Once we started winning, we moved up to the next class. And it was going to be a big bill.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw out just an arbitrary number. Let's say that number is $75,000. Right, there might be only five freaking super races or less than that. Like, you can burn up money quickly. You and your dad said, you know what? Let's do one truck race. Mm-hmm. So did you have this connection? Coincidentally enough, Justin Marks was driving this truck before you got there.
So crazy.
Yeah.
So he was part-time or overdriving it?
He had driven it the beginning of the year, and then with GoPro on the truck, and then got out, and this was the first race he was not in the truck anymore. Okay. Stacy Compton owned it. Yeah. Cole Witt was the other team truck, the 60 Red Bull Fuel Doctor.
Yep. So did you just cold call Stacy? Like, how'd you land on that truck?
Once we made the decision we wanted to maybe try it, Mike Greenwell went to school with my dad. He played for the Boston Red Sox and then did a few truck races after his baseball career. So we knew Mike, and Todd Bodine had always come down ahead of the Homestead race. Him and Janet would drive the motorhome down. He was winning truck championships, winning races, and he would come through Fort Myers, see Mike and Tracy, and then I got to meet him. Mike brought him down to our race shop. We lived 4 miles from Mike, 3 miles, and he signed the hood of my truck and saw the shop and told me I had a Darlington stripe on the side, and, well, why is this truck so torn up? I won last week. He's like, Ralph, I don't fix the truck, and my dad's like, it's just a tire mark, and we had tire marks down. Both sides, rubber noses, plastic rubber, and so just zip tying them back together, cutting pieces off, and just
Florida man stuff.
Yeah, very, and stuff all over the shop, not clean, not organized, and but we knew Todd, so then we called Todd, and Todd introduced us to Bobby Dodder, and then Stacy Compton. We met some people and met Stacy, and
So said,
drove up. Me and my uncle drove up middle of the night one night and met Stacy in the morning at the shop, and I sat in the truck, and it was in Justin's seat, and then a couple weeks before IRP.
So you were approved, right? Small enough racetrack, no experience in NASCAR yet.
Best track to get your first truck start on, by the way.
Is this IRP?
Yes. Best track. Better than Martinsville, better than Bristol by far.
So run the tape. Here is a clip. I believe that's Justin Lofton in the 6.
It is.
Justin Lofton. Ricky Carmichael?
Who's in the 7?
4 is Carmichael.
Timothy Peters?
No. Maybe Herman?
Who?
Quiroga? Herman Quiroga?
Herman Quiroga. Yeah, I believe you're right. So you're racing in pretty good company there, old buddy. And Joey Coulter in the 22.
Yeah.
ARCA Series champ. This is your first run.
First time
The Mellon won.
Yeah.
burning the right rear off that thing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you run 10th, right?
Yep. Practice like 30.
Get out of
30th.
the way, Austin. Or is this Ty?
Austin.
Austin.
I think
Yeah.
that's Austin.
Tell Pop's boy to get out of the way. I got this thing hemmed up coming. Bottom feed
You
that
working
night. Huh?
the
The
apron.
top's not coming
Is
in.
that Skinner in the 5? Who's in the 5? No, is that?
That might have been Todd.
Oh, Todd Bodine.
That was Todd. Yeah, so there was a
All right, so
there was a long green flag run to end it, and I had asked them before about green flag pit stops, and they were like, "You won't have to do it. It's IRP. There's always always wrecks." Sure enough,
Green
I'd
flag's
never done a live pit stop before that race. We didn't do any practice or anything, and then they're like, "You're gonna have to do a green flag pit stop in about 10 laps," and I was freaking out in the truck. One, I'm in Justin's seat, so I'm bouncing around.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a LaJoy seat, and it was way too big.
best in the business.
That's right. And so I got on pit road. They ran me long, and then we just did 2 tires at the end.
Okay.
Oh.
So then you're like, okay, that was all of our money spent.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
What next?
Stacy wanted me in more. Max Gresham was in for some races. Who else? I don't remember who else. They had to start and park some. I think Pocono, and of course, you're trying to just make it by, and then the hauler hits the flag stand at Pocono, trying to park out on the front stretch to unload stuff. It was
Your hauler did?
Yeah, I drove in the flag stand or something. Hit some pole or flag
I think
stand.
it was flag stand, yeah.
You keep naming all these names, and I can't help but think of people whose career was on the same trajectory of yours, right? Of like just the things that go right or wrong in a career. Like if it goes one way or the other, at some point in time, you're still driving the Spire motorhome to and from the racetrack.
Oh, yeah.
Though I think people see you now, and they forget about what you've sacrificed to get here. Like, what do you think is the biggest crescendo moment?
The hell's
There's a
crescendo?
ton,
What's
like
that
the
mean?
biggest moment where it, like a watershed moment to where it went one way or the other.
Was he coloring? Is he coloring in the dictionary coloring book or
Jesus,
something? With some big
encyclopedia
words?
over here.
Hey,
New
man, that's
Jersey
New Jersey
education.
Public
The
School.
thesaurus?
That is New Jersey Public School. Sorry, Florida can't keep up.
No, we can't. Definitely deciding to do those next. We did 4 more races. I got, parts different. My uncle and the Mellon One group that you saw on the side of the truck pitched in more. My dad did sell some land to put some money towards it, and I spent my inheritance. So we've been very fortunate at the farm, but we did spend a lot of money at the beginning. I've been able to pay that back, and some. So that's been really, really nice to do that. I always said I would, but I didn't know if I'd be able to do it through racing, and I was finally able to do that a lot of years later. But yeah, that was the biggest moment though. Was definitely getting the 42 Xfinity car. All the early stuff was mid-pack racing. We were racing together, and just at Homestead, telling Johnny Davis, buy the tires. I'll have a check. I'll give you a check after the race.
Yeah.
It's in my lock. It's in the hauler. I'll write a check. Paying it out of my own money. For the last 2 sets of tires for the Homestead race, because that's where a lot of my people and sponsors that I eventually got outside of my family, once I finally got some ag-based sponsors, that was all that kind of stuff. But yeah, getting the 42 Xfinity car was the biggest moment.
We were talking about earlier in the show about, I wish I'd have put a little bit more premium getting in a good system with a good group of guys, right? And you name the 42 Xfinity car. That was Mike Shiplett, and that was just the CGR group as a whole.
Best car in the garage.
And you performed instantly, right? Because you had the tools, and they grew you, and you had good teammates. Who else? Brendan Poole, maybe?
No, he was already gone. I was in his insert.
Okay, hey, thanks,
Just stealing everybody's seats, sorry.
Hey, whatever.
Hey, I show up, I
using
drive.
Using that. No,
Remember Brian Silas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got in. He was sick at Kentucky in 12. I drove down the straightaways looking under the wheel, and then
Whatever it takes.
Brandon McReynolds used to do that in Bandolero.
You're a spotter.
Your spotter,
Your spotter,
buddy.
right,
That's
man?
what
How
I'm
about that?
Franchise.
Muff.
I need to text him.
600 winner.
It was his birthday the other day, actually. But I wanted to hear your opinion on just how valuable it is to surround yourself with the right group.
Yeah, it is. Team-wise, you can't drive a slow car fast. But to get to those teams, I met with Spire Sports and Entertainment at the time in 2012 and met with Newman, and we were talking to him, and just the situation didn't make sense to sign with him. Fast forward, get to know him better through the Xfinity Series, and I'm racing, and David Erickson had worked at Johnny Davis at JDM, and then had left, went to Spire, and then I came in the next year to drive a car there. So he always paid attention and would text Jeff and TJ, hey, look what Chastain did. Hey, look at what Ross did. Hey, so then they get me to drive the bus.
So yeah, that's for driver management.
Driver management.
Yep.
So I just get to know them, and then they get me. They're like, hey, we'll pay you a couple $100, drive the bus, and then they brought up this DC Solar thing, DC Solar, and they said, well, we want you to sign with us. I said, if you get me DC Solar, yes, sir, yes, Jeff,
Yeah.
TJ, David, yes, whatever. And
I'll drive that bus to.
once I could see through our friendship that they were trying to help. And then they got the Karpoffs to buy in on me and give me 3 races that year. And that was the difference. I needed people outside of my family that in the industry. I needed people in the industry fighting for me. And I think that's what so many people miss the boat on is, yeah, we can do the calls, we can do the conference calls, we can do the presentations. I can sell myself, I can present myself to a group, but you need other people working quietly. And that's just where the relationships are while we're racing, while we're worried about tight and loose. You need people on the business side, and that's where the needle got moved. And then getting Chip Ganassi on board in 21 to put me in the Cup car was highly contributed to Spire and their work and their relationship with Chip.
Right.
To, hey, this is your guy. This is your next guy. Because, of course, I'm going to say it to Chip. Why should he listen to me? But these guys are. They didn't have a real reason to say it other than they thought I should be in the car.
I got a hilarious story, and you could.
We don't have them long.
You can cut this out. Pitbull, right? The DC Solar deal. You go to a party. Pitbull's playing at this DC Solar party the next day. DC Solar gets shut down by
It was
the
2 days. It was Saturday party, Tuesday shutdown.
So then you're like,
I bet you that was a hell of a party.
It was awesome.
But I remember you being like, my career's in jeopardy.
yeah.
My sponsor just got shut down.
Yeah.
You get signed with Trackhouse. Like 3 days later, they announce Pitbull is a partner. And you're like, oh, no, I've seen this story before. What's going to happen?
No, it was good. Pitbull never even knew that they got shut down.
Yeah,
Armando
no,
didn't.
I know. It's
He
just
got
the connection.
His check got wired. His money got wired before he flew out to
That's
California.
We only got you for one more minute. I could sit here and talk to you all day.
Yeah.
First off, thank you for popping in the show because I know your time is super valuable right now, getting ready to back up that Coke 600 win in Nashville. Have you been on the show before?
No, I've never sat in here with you.
Oh.
Well,
New-
welcome. We ask all of our guests 3 questions. First question: if you had to pick one car and one racetrack to race at the rest of your life, what do you go with?
Xfinity car at Darlington.
Hey,
Mm.
that year, 42 car, rubbing doors with Harvick. Get out of the way, old man. New guy at the block.
No, I wouldn't. Do I have to be the same driver I was in, or can I be myself now?
Be whoever you want to be, man.
I
That's
want to be
your question.
myself way more now than that day.
You're different?
I think I make it one more lap without crashing.
I forget.
At least get me to a green
Yeah.
white checkered or something. I was
copy.
still like 30-something to go.
He put it on your door.
Yeah.
It's so classic. And he's never
He's not gonna
let
apologize.
up the fact that I was in the wrong. Like, we had to go by. Timmy Hill was filling in. Somebody got sick. Timmy was out there riding around on old tires, and we had to crowd down. And Kevin never has acknowledged. He's just like,
Yeah, you wrecked me, man. Yeah.
he's in the gas as we're hitting the wall. I hear, rop, 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 rop,
Oh,
rop.
he was trying to get you. Anyways, all right. Question number 2. What is the most embarrassed you've ever been at the racetrack?
Embarrassed?
Yeah. In the car, out of the car.
Couple times. I mean, on track, wrecking Spring Darlington a couple years ago with Larson, wrecking Chase this year at Coda. Off track, at the track though, getting beat up by Brendan Gaughan and Shane as crew chief,
Hey.
Texas.
They beat you up?
Buddy.
Taught you a lesson.
Luckily, no cameras because I don't think it was pretty, but yeah.
Did you deserve it?
Racing. No, didn't even crash. Just racing with them. Texas Xfinity, old track. Yeah, had several run-ins. In the 4-car, I would be right at the back of the funded cars in an RCR car or a Roush car or a Gibbs car would have an off day.
Yeah.
Here
It's
they
like,
come.
damn it, here's
Here
Ross.
they come
I
right
have
back
no
in my.
time for
I was
that.
in this little
You're like the
pocket.
enforcer.
Was he in an RCR car?
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you drive an RCR Xfinity car, you're contractually obligated to fight at least once a
Well,
year.
Shane
Somewhere in the parking lot.
delivered. I'm sitting on the door of the car, go to get out, and I hear him, and I'm thinking, all right, they're gonna argue and whatever.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, it's some time had went by when next time my eyes opened, so it
Whoa.
was
Oh.
big.
Oh man,
That was embarrassing. I mean, I don't want to get beat up.
yeah, but also you learn from that
I
because
did.
you have dished out your fair share of ass
did.
whippings too, my friend.
Yeah.
No.
The cleanest punch on pit road in the last
I know.
5
Yeah,
years. No doubt.
pow! Have you and Noah good enough?
Yeah. I was with him the next morning in the
Hadn't
Chevy gym. He was a Chevy then. and
Sometimes
we
somebody
walked
just
in
needs to
and
get punched in the face.
he
Yeah,
like,
man, how's that eye doing? Yeah, it's
no,
pretty good, man.
no, it didn't even. There was no physical repercussions of what happened. It sounded better than it was. I gotta say,
It's because he's got chubby cheeks.
he did.
It's
and
wise.
does.
And we'll leave that at that. If I had the Men in Black pen, right, that zapped all of your memories and you only got to keep one, what do you keep? Racing memories.
Racing memories. I mean, it's a tough toss up between the first Cup win and this win, World 600, and then Gateway Truck coming back from the disqualification. So I don't know. I can't pick just one. But give me one of those three. We got DQ'd at Iowa in 19, and then we came back the very next week and won again.
I remember that.
That was to make the playoffs. Switch
Can
points.
I
obviously.
pick one for you?
Sure.
Coke 600's badass the way you got it done. But the first one, it's like, holy shit.
It's
Ross Chastain.
imposter syndrome happened hard, and I had to look that up. I was telling Justin, like, he's like, "What are you feeling? What's wrong?" And I was like, "I just feel like this isn't me. I'm watching someone else's win celebration at the shop, like on Tuesday that week."
Dang.
He's like, "That's imposter syndrome, buddy."
Yeah.
like you got it.
Well,
I'm like, I got
hey,
it.
we're going to pencil you in and break that down because we can talk about that till we're blue in the face. But nonetheless, I got to let you go. Thank you for stopping by. Ross Chastain on Second Pennies. Congratulations, buddy. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, buddy.